Welcome to The Thriving Mama, the podcast that teaches you not just how to survive, but to thrive in motherhood. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Davis. First, let me say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'm honored to be able to share all of this information and content with you. Moms today are struggling more than ever before because of the stresses of daily mom life, not being able to care for themselves enough, the demands of society, and the increasingly disconnectedness in a technologically connected world. All of this, plus the emotional burden that we're carrying, is putting moms in survival mode, but it doesn't have to be this way. You can thrive as a mom at any age or any stage of your motherhood journey with guidance and support. Today, I'm going to share with you who I am, my journey and experience, why I started this podcast, and what you can look forward to hearing and learning from it. I've launched this podcast to share my knowledge and experience, but I know that real change comes from action and not just information. For personalized guidance, I'm offering podcast listeners a free 20-minute Thriving Mama Glow assessment call. We'll evaluate your situation, and even if I'm not the right fit for you, I'll provide useful resources and support to help you on your journey. You'll find that link in the show notes. So let's get into this. I want to share with you who I am. And for as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor my entire life. I've always, wanted to help people. And I'm pretty sure I was born, a healer, a teacher, a guide, a doctor, whatever you want to call it. But I will say, I didn't think it would look like this. The vision I had of myself being a doctor when I was, a little kid, about yay high, I thought I would be doing surgeries, and I thought I would be, or else just dispensing medications. But you'll find out through my journey that this is not what I ended up doing. And it's also, I quickly figured out that it's not really what I wanted, because by nature, I am a researcher and a seeker of, answers and knowledge. And I always want to know the whys. And this ended up translating into, trying to find the best options for myself on my health journey, my family, and for my clients. And all of this, I view being a mom as the most important role in my life, but I don't let it alone define me. And I feel like this is a really critical piece of the puzzle. And you'll see, as we discuss this more, that this is a piece where I feel like moms often, when I ask them, when I'm working with them, describe who you are outside of being a mom, a wife, or, what your job is, they often don't remember who they are, or they struggle to find the words to describe who they really are at their core, and what brings them joy, and what brings them purpose, and what drives their inspiration and passion. And so I'll share with you some of the things that I view myself as. I view myself as a mom, a wife, a sister, an aunt, a daughter, a friend, a doctor, a researcher, a lover of nature and the outdoors. I really, truly enjoy and love helping people heal and transform their lives. I'm an introvert. I'm open-minded and flexible. I'm very kind, but I'm tough, and I'm so much more. And I know what drives me. I just said it, that love for helping people heal and transform their lives, especially moms. Moms have a very, very special place in my heart. They always have, but especially after becoming a mom 11 years old, that's 11 years ago, I should say. My oldest is 11, also have a 6-year-old. That really flipped a switch in me and, really attuned me into the needs of moms. And so I'll share with you my journey, because I always describe it to people as it's pretty circuitous, just like healing and just like our life journey. It's not linear. It's like filled with ups and downs and sideways turns. And like I said before, I ended up in a place where I didn't think I would be when I was younger, but this is the place I know I'm supposed to be. So like I said before, I wanted to be a doctor my entire life. But when I was in undergrad at Ohio State, I saw firsthand what was happening at the university hospital. And I knew something wasn't right when, there were signs actually kind of posted on the doors that said, your probably only going to have about 5 to 10 minutes of FaceTime with the doctor. And in my head, I was like, how can that be? How can you really figure out what is wrong with somebody when you only have 5 to 10 minutes with the doctor? And so this left me very confused and frustrated and disenchanted. And I decided not to go the traditional medical route at that point, which kind of left me in a little bit of a tailspin, but I knew that I could fall back on my education and do research, which is what I ended up doing. I did microbiological research for several years before I went back to school. But the turning point for me was really when I went to my doctors when I was in my late teens and early 20s. And it was for allergies and hormonal migraines. I had horrific hormonal migraines and it felt like I was having a knife stabbed into my head. So I needed to do something about it. And so all of those doctors told me that I was going to have to be on medications for the rest of my life. And I thought to myself, I am in my early 20s. This can't be right. There has to be a reason why. So the researcher in me started digging around and I found out about Dr. Andrew Weil and integrative and functional medicine. I learned more about traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture and diet. And that was initially how I reversed my hormonal migraines and allergies. Once I dialed in my diet and I had gotten, probably about 2 or 3 months of acupuncture and traditional Chinese herbs, I was so much better. And that health lasted pretty much until after I had my first child, which I will tell you about in a little bit. I'll share with you the second, it's a pivotal point in my journey. At the time, when I was doing all this, I was working as a microbiologist for Kimberly-Clark and then eventually at the University of Minnesota Medical School. And I decided I wanted to go back to school, for being able to work in functional medicine, but I was going to go the natural medicine route. When I was in school, I started studying functional medicine in my second trimester and had finished at the time, it was probably, they have a certification now, the Institute for Functional Medicine, but I had finished applying functional medicine in clinical practice before I graduated so that I could start treating patients as soon as I graduated. And beyond that, I did many, many certifications and trainings during that next decade or so in functional medicine, integrative medicine, and some other, extra healing modalities. But I felt like something was missing from being able to truly help people transform their health and their lives. So it was extraordinarily vibrant. So over the years, I saw this in practice and I realized that people who got really well, like 100%, not just like 80 or 85%, were the ones who had done emotional and trauma work. So I started down this path for myself because I was in the same boat. Once I had my first child, I started having fatigue and brain fog and hives and eczema and flu-like symptoms after any exertion. I suspected what was going on, but I was actually really scared to test myself because somewhere in the back of my mind, I didn't want to know. But I ended up doing it because I was really sick of feeling the way I was feeling. And I tested positive for so many of the things that I thought were wrong. I tested positive for Epstein-Barr virus, which is mono, mycotoxins from mold, Lyme. I had thyroid antibodies, which is Hashimoto's. And then the big piece of the puzzle was I had 2 miscarriages after I tried getting pregnant with my second child. And this was a really just dark and hard period of my life. I eventually got pregnant again, but I needed to take progesterone during the first half of my pregnancy to keep the pregnancy viable. And this was really, really hard. And I was frustrated because I did all of the diet and lifestyle and supplements and protocols and special therapies, but it really didn't get me to the place I wanted to be. I was functional, but I was not, I would say I was maybe a shell of myself. I wasn't fully the person I wanted to be. I wanted to thrive and have vibrant health, but I wasn't there. And as I said before, I knew from watching the patients in my practice that had done trauma therapy and emotional work. They were the ones who had that vibrant health that I wanted. And so I started my journey of getting trainings and also diving into this. So during this period, I tried art math and EMDR and meditation and QNRT, which is quantum neuro reset technique. And they all helped me somewhat, but it wasn't until I found HMT or holographic manipulation therapy that the needle really moved for me. The subconscious work, the deep subconscious work that I did to truly address and reverse any traumas I'd had from childhood and my adult life caused profound shifts in my health without any of the supplements and, dietary tweaks or expensive healing modalities like IVs or ozone or hyperbaric oxygen. And I did much of the healing work during my initial training as an HMT therapist, but I use it daily on myself and often with my family to, just keep my health and my mental and emotional health moving in the right direction. And I found that this was the missing piece of the puzzle for me. And so many clients I've worked with in the last several years have also said that what they've experienced through doing that work, the work through HMT and some of the other healing modalities that I do, just far exceeded what happened, by just doing functional medicine alone, which is exactly why I created the Thriving Mama program, the Thrive Mama Tribe community, and now the Thriving Mama podcast. So I often get asked, why did I create the podcast? I created this podcast because my practice is 95% moms and their kids, and it has always largely focused on gut and hormones and immune and skin health. One of the biggest trends that I've noticed in the thousands of people that I've worked with is that moms will move heaven and earth and do everything under the sun for their kids, but not for themselves. They would always do something that I would say something would always derail their plans despite the best intentions. They'd always keep moving forward with their kids, even if they got sidetracked. But the moms would eventually be stuck, on the quote unquote hamster wheel, moving a lot and doing things, but not really moving forward and not reaching the health and emotional goals that they had. And this made me really sad because they deserve so much more. All the moms of the world deserve so much more. And I've been there too. And I realized that to be the best mom I could be, I needed to be healthy, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. There's a reason why when you're on an airplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first and then your kids. You need to be there to help them. You need to be healthy and truly well to be able to be there for your kids and family, and show up 100%. And you matter. Mamas of the world, you matter. You are just as worthy and deserving and as important as your kids. And you really, truly need to see yourselves that way. And that is one of my main missions, is to get moms to realize that they are, worthy and deserving and amazing. And so things that you will learn on this podcast, created it. My goal was to share with you all of the insights as well as practical tips you can take to help yourself move forward in thriving health as a mom. I also want to bring on expert guests who can share their knowledge and tips. And I also want to share with you real moms who have done the work so they can, show you what the journey looks like, and that none of us are perfect. We're all just trying to survive in this world, but you can make it a better journey, a happier journey, a calmer journey. It just all around, it can be better. We'll be talking about all aspects of mom life and health, no matter what stage of the journey you're on, whether you're a new mom in the throes of adolescence, a grandma, a great grandma, and everything in between. We'll dive into subjects like overwhelm, stress, hormones, nutrition, beliefs and mindset, subconscious programs that are holding you back, neurodivergence, emotions and trauma, and much more, so that you can understand the whys behind what you're experiencing now and what to do to start healing. Another huge reason I created the podcast was to be able to reach out to millions of moms around the world who need the support of a village and find their tribe so they can go from surviving to thriving in motherhood. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I hope you can join us in the Thrive Mama tribe. And, I hope that you find the answers and the support that you need as you go through your mama journey. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate you. Remember, knowledge is just the beginning. Taking action is what truly sparks change. If you're overwhelmed and don't have enough energy to make it through the day, I invite you to book a free 20-minute coaching call with me. It's a no-obligation chat where we can discuss your health goals and how I might be able to help you achieve them. Visit the link in the episode description to book that call. Until next time, keep striving for wellness, and remember, you have the power to not just survive, but thrive in motherhood.